All right, boys, got one little last step on old fireballs here. So I think I told you guys I'm gonna do some more tournament fishing this year. Nothing crazy, not like Toyota Series or like Bass Open stuff, but I'm gonna fish me some of these Wildcats, these ABAs. There's a bunch of tournaments on Gunnersville and around here in North Alabama, and it's fun, right? Especially fun during the summer. Dude, ledge fishing offshore, absolutely epic. But one of the things that's really important to me, and I harp on it all the time, and personally one of my philosophies is take responsibility and be the example you want to be, right? Is fish care. You got to take care of these fish. The amount of pressure on these lakes, dude, they're getting beat up. When you fish a tournament, you're keeping the biggest fish that you can. We need to all kind of act to take care of this resource. I hate dead fish at tournaments. I hate guys that mistreat the fish and don't take care of it. It's such a resource. It gives us so much fun. It's one of the few things that gives me an absolute like grin across my face. So we're gonna do a little install video. This is what's called the Fish Guardian, and I bet you can see where this is going already. It's a reservoir style setup that has a little electronic release on it. So basically it hooks to both the live wells. You can disperse any kind of, live well additive you want, G-juice, whatever, and it does it in a sort of simple and easy way. And you hit the button, it goes in. So we're gonna walk you through the install. I'll put links to all this stuff and what the Fish Guardian is down in the description box of Precision Sonar. But let's get to it. Installation on this thing is pretty straightforward, but it does take a little bit of work. Will's helping me do it here at GAF, and my live wells have a bunch of foam around them. So first you have to take off that back panel, and then once you get to where you want to place this thing, we're going to be placing it on the top end of the live well, in between the two of them, basically that little gap in between the splitter. And we're going to scrape away some of that foam so we can access it with a drill. At that point, we're going to go ahead and take that drill, a 1964 drill bit, and we're going to go ahead and drill a hole. And what that's going to be for, you have to do one in each side or each live well. And what that's going to be for is there's a small nipple that you're going to insert from inside the live well back through that hole, and then there's a small nut. Basically, that's the sprayer nozzle, and you're going to slide that nut in after you've slid that little nipple through and tighten it on. And that's where our little kind of flexible tubing is going to end up being. But the first step though is we got to kind of situate it, figure out where we want those sprayers and how they're going to come off that reservoir. Once you get those little sprayers in, you're going to want to get out silicone. So you're going to want a silicone on the inside and the outside of those sprayers, both the inside of the live well and then on the outside, so you make kind of a sandwich. You want that thing watertight, and then you're going to go ahead and connect your little tubing. This is where you're going to have to measure a little bit, because you're going to have to figure out how long you need to go before you hit that T, and then juncture out to go and hit the reservoir. There's an anti-feedback valve that you need to install, and it has a real simple purpose. It's so that live well doesn't backflow into your reservoir and dilute your G-juice or whatever additive you're using. What you want to do is find about 2 inches from where you put that T. Once you got everything all set up, I would not do this beforehand. And then you're going to slide that black nipple going towards your live wells, and then the white nipple on the other side going towards the reservoir. And once again, just wrap 2 zip ties on there just to secure it on. Last step before we get the electrical is the reservoir bracket. Basically, like I said, I want that thing mounted in something that's pretty sturdy. So what we did is we found the support strut behind that backsplash, or that little hiding protector, that shroud, and screwed it directly into there. That way it's in something strong. When I fill it up with that G-juice or whatever liquid that I'm using to treat the live wells, it's got something to hold on to and it's gripped in. So we used some Tapcons and went into there. So that's pretty much set up. You connect the tubing to that main reservoir that you did from the T. You put a little zip tie around it to clinch it down on that nipple, and now the last step is figuring out your electrical. I'm going to run mine to a bus board so I can control it from that master power switch. I don't want it running all the time. And then we are going to snake a wire down around. What's really nice with my nitro is it's super easy to rig, right? You can take the little storage containers out. You have a lot of access. We're going to run it down behind that shroud or that backsplash and run it straight to the dash and put a button right next to my automatic bilge pump light. Wiring 101, boys. So we're running the negative to the bus board in the back, and then we're going to go ahead and snake that positive from the reservoir all the way up to my dash. What we're going to need to do is join that up with the button. So the button, we're going to drill a hole in the dash. I think it's like 15-30 seconds. You drill that hole, and I chose to kind of seat mine near my auto bilge pump light because there was already kind of a hole in the dash right there and something already there. I wanted to kind of blend in, and it's real easy to reach on the nitros because you can take that windshield off and then reach the back of that that little button, because what there is there's a little nut on there. You slide it through that hole and then you thread that nut on and tighten it down. It's just a pressurized little button kind of mount right there. It sandwiches in. And so once we snake that thing up, we are going to have to attach that button. It has a little positive clip to it. We're going to have to put it on the board at the dash. I have an open accessory slot that I'm going to use, and then it's a 5-amp fuse you want to pop in there. Last thing we got to do to complete this deal is connect everything, right? So we need to connect the control button. The control button I chose to mount right on my dash, right next to my automatic bilge pump. Basically, that wire, we snaked it all the way through to meet that button, and it has a little bullet connector, so it's plug and play. You pop it in, you're good to go. Now the nice part is this thing's on my master kill switch because we hooked it to the bus board in the back, so it'll turn off whenever I turn that master kill switch off. Operationally, how does it actually work? So you're completing the circuit when you press that button. So depending on the size of your live well, you're gonna hold that button down anywhere from 3 to 8, maybe 9 or 10 seconds even. You're looking for that good quality, like blue color in the water. That's the most important thing. And it's just kind of an efficient way to do this process. You know, we're always taking out that container of G-juice or whatever to dump in. You hit a wave, you spill too much in, you run out, you don't have any left. The reservoir has a decent size to it, and it allows you to kind of disperse that stuff in there on a controlled level. You hit the button, hold it down, get a little spurt in there, get it circulating. You don't have to open the live wells, take the chance of a fish jumping out. It's just a real efficient way to do it. You don't have to always carry that, you know, container of G-juice in your storage, have it leaking, things along those lines. It's a cool little setup, and like I said initially, I want to fish some more derbies, but with fishing derbies, I really think comes a lot of responsibility with fish care and taking care of these fish so we can catch them again and enjoy this thing more and more as we grow older over the years, right? It's a fun deal. I like pulling on them, but in order to do that, we need to have good fish care and fish management during these tournaments. So it's a simple little apparatus I can add to the boat. It doesn't have much of a power draw, but I can take care of these fish, make sure I'm using that G-juice, which I think is one of the most important things to keeping them right in the live well, other than using the ice bottles. And it makes it easy, dude. If you guys got any questions or anything, drop it down in the comments box. I'll put a link to the Fish Guardian down in the description box if you guys want to check it out. But we are almost done with fireballs. So hopefully in the next week or two, we're going to get this thing wet and see if she can catch some fish.